It's the Playhouse Podcast with Kat and JJ.
Believe it. I missed everything.
Missed the show?
What am I going to do?
Check out the Daily Podcast.
All right, our favorite moments of the week are dead ahead, including naming a worm after your ex for Valentine's Day. And believe it or not, Kat is very, very prudish, but she was doing mad sleepovers with her boyfriend in high school. Anybody else fit into this groove? It was kind of amazing. All of this and so much more in our podcast. Here we go. If I asked you what phrase annoys you every time you hear it, would anything immediately come to mind?
I use it, though. It is what it is. I say it, but I don't want someone else to use it because that means they're writing it off.
What is it?
I just said it.
What?
It is what it is.
I thought you were just riffing.
I say it, and then I don't like when other people
It's sometimes the best way to get out of a conversation when you're delivering bad news. You just go, it is what it is.
I use it to do that, and then if somebody uses it on me, I don't like that very much. It is what it is.
The next person that I hear verbally say, I was today years old, when they're describing anything, roundhouse kick to the temple.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go to jail for that.
Do you have something that when they say, I did a thing today, and then they
who doesn't
post
say
a
that?
picture
A single guy.
of their pink hair?
One
I did
single
a thing today.
dude has never, ever gone, I did a thing today. And if they did, roundhouse kick to the temple.
Okay.
So I saw this on Reddit, and these are some of the most hated phrases.
Okay.
It instantly annoys the masses every time they're said. Not all heroes wear capes.
Uh-huh.
Get the hell
I like
out of
that
here.
one, though.
That's such a boneheaded one. How about tell me you blank without telling me you blank?
Okay.
No guy has ever said that. You know what that
can't
is?
Give us all this credit.
That's a 32-year-old woman working at a job where she's overwhelmed. She goes, oh, tell me you blank without telling me you blank.
Okay.
That's that. How about, I love that for you?
I use that. I love that for you. But I use it in jest.
It's
I don't do it to be serious.
It's the most insincere thing you can ever say. One of the things that popped up on this list, though, is something I say all the time. I go, oh, well played. Does that bother people, hearing the words well played?
Well played. That's like a touche.
Yeah, I was like, all right, you got one on me. Well played.
Well played.
Well played. But the number one on this list of phrases that instantly annoy everyone is, I was today years old.
Okay.
No, you weren't. You probably knew about it, or we learn something new every freaking day.
So then you were that day old. We have a lot of bothered listeners walking around every single day. I hope you don't run into these because they're triggers. Just an FYI, says Rochelle.
Oh.
And it's always someone that pops their big dome into your office. Just an FYI. We do have a meeting.
You should be able to airsoft pop them right in the head.
This one, no offense, but you know an offense is coming.
Yeah.
Always. This one, I seen that.
Oh.
No, you saw that. I seen that. That's funny. This one, sure, buddy. Sure. That means whatever you said before doesn't matter. Sure, buddy. Got it. I don't mean to be mean once again.
But you're gonna be mean.
Is going. And then Dominic, we just talked about this the other day, and JJ doesn't get it. But when people say, I could care less, it is true.
But I could actually care less. I just don't really care.
No, the phrase is, I couldn't care less.
But I could care less.
So you could care more.
And less.
I know that you're fighting this.
I'm not
this
fighting
is your
it.
personality
Listen,
to always
I could
think
care
that you're
less
right. But
about this conversation.
I couldn't care less about.
You're telling me you're at the very bottom of your ladder of caring about this. You're not
I have nowhere else to go.
You can't care less.
I couldn't care less.
But I could always care. I care
because I care so less. There's no more less care.
I care for so much that's going on in this great, great world that we live in this blessed universe that we're in, that I could care less, but I'm not. I have a little care.
You never have a little
I
care.
have a little
That's
care
a lie.
on a lot of stuff. Caitlin, you hear the phrase and it just sets you off. What's yours?
Yeah, I don't exactly know how to say it, but my husband came home the other day from working with these kids, and he said, yeah, babe, no capping. And I was like...
You lost him. He's gone. He'll never be back.
He's been infiltrated.
It's over. You just got to get a divorce, cut a clean rope, and just be done. Start over.
Exactly. exactly.
Name one thing that is embarrassing about your husband, Kat.
Okay, so when he does post the videos, it's fine. It's him being creative. It is what it is. He enjoys it. I'm not going to take away his joy.
But
the ones that I know that all of our neighbors are getting a front row seat to, those ones are kind of like, oh my God, I can't even imagine. But like, I feel like everyone in our neighborhood doesn't have a problem with it, you know, but he'll be out on our front step in like a Nacho Libre mask and underwear. And I'm like, most cities you could get fined for that. That's like indecent exposure. But like our neighbors are like, well, he's just out there with his ring light doing his thing. And some people will ask me straight out, hey, do you see your husband's videos? Or do you get embarrassed by him? And I don't. If I did, we'd have more of a problem with it. But he's a crazy guy. I can't harness that crazy.
he is a unique energy.
Yeah. So just that.
What my wife does that's embarrassing, and this is probably more on me, but we can be in a brand new environment, never been to this place before. We'll go to a brand new restaurant. Waitress will come by. Can I get you anything to drink? She'll order something. And right as I'm ready to order something, she'll go, that's JJ from the morning show.
Oh, man.
And she's been doing that a lot
What a
lately.
clout chaser.
And I'm like, oh my God, how am I supposed to have 9 beers here if you're going to be doing something?
Does
like
she
that?
think you're going to get money off your tab? Because more often than not, they'll ask you to leave.
I think that's her goal, is being like, oh my gosh, they're going to knock some money off this.
Yeah.
They're going to say, talk about our cheeseburger on the radio and we'll give it to you free. And I'm like, it doesn't really work that way. So we just thought we'd ask you this morning, what's one thing that's kind of embarrassing about your mate? I'd love for you to call us real quick. And David, you get first honors here, bud.
So me and my wife, we don't have any kids, right? We got 2 pugs, and in the beginning, she was like normal with them, like every now and then she'll do baby talk or something else. But outside of that, she kind of escalated it in a way where she's like full-blown fur mom now.
Yeah.
She got like a stroller for them. She wants to take them she takes them to grocery stores. Like she got this pottery class she's in. She's taking these pugs around all these ceramics. And it's like, dude, these dogs shouldn't exist in the first place. Okay. These like pugs, they can't even breathe. Now you want to take them everywhere. The air quality where we're at hasn't been great. And I'm just like, you're shortening their life and you're embarrassing me right now.
So it kind of tipped the scale with the stroller, the puppy stroller.
Yes, treating them like real babies.
I got to admit, I'm on the same page as you, man. Like, if my wife started doing this,
she's probably a tick away. If she knew it was going to be a long, long walk somewhere, or she wanted to bring Addison with, she would get one of those big
I get
carts.
the dog wearing a sweater, or even like it's hot in the summer and they got the booties on so they don't burn their feet. But I'm like, you got to remember, these things are basically one step away from wolves. They're going to be fine. But if my wife got the dog stroller, then yeah, I think this would be an issue. It's not going to be a good future.
People will talk.
People are already talking.
Like those cat backpacks at the airport with the big globe.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
And you just have the cat, and it's never like a cute cat. It's always like either one of the naked ones or like a Wilford Brimley looking cat. Just staring right back at you at TSA.
I just want to stop those people and go, what happened to you? This is Selling the City. What's her name again?
Her name is Eleonora, and she is the head of the real estate group that she runs. And she has a team of 4 chicks, and everybody's got drama and stuff they're going on, or stuff they have going on. But she has this ability to, and I'm not knocking her come up because she really has made a lot of money and a name for herself. But she came from Israel with her mom, had to start over. Walking uphill both ways to school, no shoes, that kind of thing. But I want to know who had a come up story that could rival that, who had kind of a tough start to life.
Morning, Derek. How are you?
Good morning.
Morning.
Tough start to life. Tell us about it. What happened?
Well, it started at birth, I guess. I skipped crawling and went straight to walking. And I had this issue with sleeping, so my parents would pretty much just lock me in my room, and
Jeez.
I would pretty much just bang on the door until I fell asleep. Well, that's just the start of it. Then the alcohol started before the age of 3. By the time I was 8, I was already hooked on weed.
Wait.
You started drinking at the age of 3, drinking alcohol?
Yeah.
But
Somebody has to give that to you, though, right? Like, you didn't just go into the fridge and crack a beer.
No, not at first. It was definitely handed to me.
That's
Jesus.
awful.
All right, so you're smoking weed at 8. Then what?
Yeah. Well, then by the time I was 14, I almost killed a person because I caught him in the act of raping my sister.
Okay.
And then pretty much it was just placements and treatments and jails and prisons.
Okay, well, let's fast forward to today. I don't want to discount what was going on. How do you get through something like this? I mean, you're obviously, you got your stuff together and you're living a good life right now. Like, what was the turning point? What happened that got you like back on the right path?
Well, there's only one way to say this, and that was my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
There it is.
Okay.
So you found a higher purpose. You found something you could lean on. And
What does your everyday look like? Because going from that start.
I can't tell you my everyday because that would give away what I do.
Okay.
But I definitely turned around and I help out as many as I can instead of living on the streets. Now I help those on the streets.
Wow.
This is
And
amazing.
get everybody from point A to B. Yeah.
We're
This
lucky
is-
that you're out there.
Can I ask how old you are right now?
I'm 40, actually.
Okay, you're 40. And how old were you when you kind of, quote unquote, got it all together and were able to turn the corner?
Actually, 2 years ago, I went to Brainerd Teen Challenge, and it's been a life change ever since.
Man,
Love
if
it.
you could get
I
in
love
with
it.
the teens right now, you could make a world of difference too, if you haven't already. I mean, there's still, not that you're beyond saving at 40, but at that age, they need you. They
Hey,
need someone like you.
Derek, when we hear these kind of stories,
for sure.
I normally get at least somebody who says there was one specific person. You said, obviously, your faith in Christ and your church and everything like that has been paramount, but there had to be one person that turned the switch on for you. Do you remember who that person was?
My brother Justin has never gave up on me, no matter what. So he's always tried to pull me out of the wreckage.
He's your guy. All right. Hey, thanks for sharing. This is a big thing. I really appreciate you this morning.
Yep, no problem.
Have a
Thank
great
you.
day. Wow, that was heavy.
That was.
As we segue into bringing our friend New York onto the show. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, everyone.
He found
that was good to hear.
He
with
found a
Derek.
Little Italy bed for you, by the way.
I don't know if you can hear this or not, but I was just...
As we segue into a rough
All
start
right,
for
so
you.
let's start with the rough start. What was it like, New York?
Well, I grew up, as you all know, in a small apartment in the Bronx, New York. It was 7 of us in a one-bedroom apartment, 1 car, 1 dog.
What was the dog's
And
name?
we were like a year apart. So you're talking 5 kids in 6 years. So it was chaos and loud and hand-me-downs on top of hand-me-downs, and food was tight because my parents were a little bit older when they got married. Mom mid-30s, dad mid-40s.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So life was hard. It was a struggle with everything. We didn't have all the comforts like everybody, but the basics. We had the meals at 6 p.m. We were up early with breakfast. But no privacy, no peace and quiet. And yes, alcohol was a big factor growing up too. And as you know, in a lot of Italian families, the wine's at the table, so naturally the kid is going to take a sip here and there. So I'm not going to get into the whole, chemical dependency and take away from Derek's.
No,
story,
everyone has
but-
their own journey. That's all right. You're telling yours.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I went down that route too, as we've talked about in the past.
So what was the turning point for you? Everybody has this moment where you're like, yep, I'm going to pull it all together and this worked for me. What was yours?
Well, mine was, finally, when your body just shuts down and you had that kind of that moment of clarity, like, do I want to live or do I want to go out like this?
Yeah.
So it was that clear picture of wanting to live. And then, as we know, April 23rd is going to be the due date for my first grandchild, a little girl.
Exciting that you're here for that.
Just to be in a place of recovery and have my own things, my own peace of mind, my own sanity, and to be in a place where I can be there for my grandkids and my kids who are now young men who are very successful, but know how easy it is to lose that if they go down that path.
Well, I don't want to cut you off. We're kind of running up against the clock here, but I always appreciate when you call, man. You're such a great storyteller and a good friend, and I mean, we don't really have too many other people that bring us cannolis, so thank you.
Hey, you guys are my family, too, so, hey, you guys have a good day. Maybe
Hang in there, brother.
this week.
I do want to talk about the way you communicated in school. I read this morning that teens are still spending about 90 minutes on their phone during the school day.
Believe it.
I don't believe it because kids are not allowed to have their phones outside of their locker.
No, my kid has this on his pocket all the time.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
If kids in Liam's school are caught with it, it's taken away. And then you can't get it back unless you go to the office at the end of the day.
My son says there's a lot of classes where at the end, if you're all caught up, they'll just let you have 5 or 10 minutes on your phone.
So if you go to your teacher and say, I think my plans are going to change and I need to contact my parents, they'll let you run to your locker. And, you know, they get it. They're parents too, and they just want the world to go smoothly for everybody. So they do that. But they have iPads. And that's where they get into trouble. Earlier,
they're not all locked down.
When they first got the iPads, their way of communicating, like when we used to have our paper notes and then we'd fold it really cool ways and write their name with our jelly pens, like that was our form of communication. Theirs was emailing. And I said, dummies, like you have to realize they will track and they have access to everything.
Do the schools? If they email back and forth, they can look in your kid's account? I don't think that's right. They can look at your kids' emails to each other?
Yes.
I don't think that's right.
It's their school account. They can go in and do recon. They can say, is somebody bullying somebody? Let's get some proof.
I get that, but I don't think that's right.
Well, I don't think they're that bored that they're just going to go in and read these. I think they have to have just cause or like
here's the problem I have.
Trouble.
Let's say you got a teacher who's an absolute dork. An absolute geek dork. They're a good teacher.
Yeah.
But everybody's got that First Amendment right to say to their friend, God, Mr. Smith is such a dork. Did you see the sandals he's wearing today?
Do it with your voice in somebody's ear. You cannot be that stupid.
I don't think that's right that the administration can be looking on your iPad or your laptop and going through those emails. I think
it's like
that's
at work.
ridiculous.
They could comb through your emails. They probably do. They probably
here's why they don't. And here's how I know. Because I would never still be here. If they did. Just on the school tip real quick, my wife, I caught her giggling over the weekend and I said, what are you looking at? And she saw, I don't know if it was on TikTok or Instagram, but do you remember being in elementary school and standing behind someone at the water fountain and then giving them a countdown because you had to hurry up? Do you remember that?
No, I don't.
Oh, no, my wife said that to me and I was like, we both went to this itty bitty school in the middle of nowhere. But you'd have this line of kids, especially after recess, and some kid would just be drinking and like camel drinking at the fountain.
Yeah.
And you'd go 3, 2, 1. You know whatever. You guys don't do that.
How bossy.
Oh my God. I want to see anybody else listening that did this, probably in an elementary school, where maybe you had a little break or it was like right after lunch or gym or something like that, where somebody was just taking too much time at the water fountain and you would go 3, 2, 1. And you don't remember that pressure from being there?
No, I don't. But like, I think looking at your photos back in the day, you pinned me as somebody that would be licking the metal of it.
No.
The copper taste.
But it's different now because that doesn't happen because all the kids have a water bottle with them at school.
Yeah.
I'm just curious if anybody else remembers having to count down somebody at the water fountain. They were taking too long and you're 3 back and you're like, all right, 5, 4,
like,
3.
On holiday.
Hurry them up. I'm wondering if anybody remembers that. Text us real quick. Troy, you got this, right?
100% true. You got to count down, get out of the way.
Troy remembers it. I can't believe Kat she went to such a bougie school. Like, this is the difference between
We had multiple.
how you and I grew up in a humble environment versus Kat going to this high-end, super bougie, rich people school.
Our classrooms actually had mini fridges in it with water bottles offered to us.
But yeah, you remember that? You got to count somebody down. Like, Troy's taking too long at the water fountain. I'm like, 3, 2, 1. And you felt the pressure when you were drinking that you had to get the hell up out of there.
Listen, I remember you common folk, the taste of that water was pretty good. It would be ice cold, hurting your head.
If you could bottle that right now, you'd make $1 billion.
Exactly.
Talked to a guy named Janish just a couple of minutes ago, and if you missed it, he's got a concern about, well, actually, I think it's his wife, fiance, has a concern about the party they might get.
So my question was, it's about Diddy and white parties, because I wanted to have a white party, and my wife was like, no way, dude, that's associated with Diddy. And I was like, not every white party means it's going to be a freak-off.
So if it's your 40th birthday party and somebody wants to throw you a white party, is that now off limits because Diddy's in the joint?
I know. Shame on us for letting him
win
that, because I love a good theme party, and I'd go to a white party. I think that'd be
But if we
fun.
threw you a party, you were not going to it.
I'm not going to my own party.
This is ridiculous. Yeah. Morning, Madison. How are you? Good. Can we still throw a white party, or is that faux pas now?
I feel like it depends on the person. Definitely, if they're like into like extravagant things, but for people who like just want to have like a laid back day, it's definitely not the vibe.
Is it? We talked about it a while ago. Is it mean to say white trash party? Is that a mean?
I would
theme?
not. I don't think so. I think there has to be like a theme, and anything can be taken the wrong way for sure. But
and I can say it because I'm white, right?
Help me understand what a white trash party would all involve, Kat.
That would have like the mac and cheese with hot dogs. That would be a dish.
Okay.
Everyone has to bring their own beer. What'd you just say?
Flannels, definitely, and cut off jeans.
Flannels, yep, absolutely. Even fake pregnant bellies. And then the tank top that says drinking for two.
Bad idea.
I saw it online.
All over the place. It's only getting worse.
Obviously not promoting drinking while you are pregnant, but that would be the fun. And then just have like a Stanley with water in it, whatever. But
hey, Madison, while we got you on the line, are you like Kat where you don't want people to celebrate you? You wouldn't want a party like this?
Yeah, I would definitely not want a party. I'm also pregnant with my first child right now, and everyone wants to throw a baby shower, and I do not want one.
Why?
Yeah.
Why? Why are you so afraid of people celebrating you and your baby? This is a joyous occasion. Why don't you want people to get together?
I think it'd be like great if they came over and did like house projects or
put them to work. Put them to work.
I really don't want to sit and make small talk about how uncomfortable I am and like everyone's horror stories.
Okay, so if you think about it, it's 120 seconds or 120 minutes that you have to endure to get like thousands of dollars and stuff. It's just one of those like pep talks on the way there that you just have to give yourself. Just, I can get through it. I can get through it. You know?
Yeah. I definitely thought about that, and that's what people are saying, but I told them, like, if we want to have something after the baby's born, when I can have a drink and not be, like, pounded by questions and concerns about what I'm going to be doing, then that's great. But I do not want pictures with my big belly. I don't really want to do any cleanup or planning.
How about those random guys that show up about half lit up and want to touch your belly?
I haven't really had anyone no one has ever asked to touch my belly yet, so that's been great, but...
How far along are you right now?
I'm 8 months.
I want you to think of, the grass might not always be greener for that after the baby party. They're going to want to know about the afterbirth. Did you poop? Did you tear? You know what I mean? Like, there's going to be those questions. So do you want the intrusive, do you tinkle when you laugh? Yeah, those kind of questions.
So really what Kat's saying is you want to push this whole thing off until you're about a year from right now.
Yeah, maybe that's the plan. Who knows?
But then you don't get all the good diaper genie stuff.
I know. I'm just thinking.
Yeah, and I weigh pros and cons, and I would rather buy my own diaper genie than sit with a giant belly while everyone has a drink.
And that's your prerogative. You do not have to do anything you don't want to do. I hate when pregnant moms feel like they have to do certain things.
Hey, Madison, before we let you go, you're not one of these chicks that's like keeping the baby's name secret until the baby comes out, are you?
No, sadly, I'm just like one of those chicks that I don't want to plan my baby shower, but I haven't even planned my baby's name yet. So that's another thing that
you've had 8 months, Madison.
I know.
You got to be leaning towards at least one name, right? Do you know if you're having a boy or girl?
A boy, yeah.
She doesn't want to say it. She's one of those girls. She knows what it is. She just doesn't want to say it.
I think she knows.
No, we have like 30 names.
Oh my God.
And then like we made a list of ones that sounded cool, but none of them are like that's the one.
Yeah.
Like that is it.
Yell like they're in trouble all over your house. Try them all and see which one sounds the best.
Good morning. I'm JJ. Kat's here too, and we know every good piece of gossip starts with "Girl!" So we decided let's do a part of our show with this, where you get to spread a little gossip, something you've been holding in. It's going to feel a little bit better, but you got to start with "Girl!"
And for the sake of defamation, let's leave out any names that it's about, but what's the scenario that's too hot to keep to yourself?
Monica, welcome to the show.
Girl,
there it is.
I have some gossip for you.
Let's go.
I'm stressed.
Okay.
I'm stressed. So my niece has been in college, and she told me, just me, that she's decided to drop out. She was going to be a lawyer, and she has not told her parents. I feel like I can't tell my sister.
Yeah.
That needs to be a conversation between them, and I'm just walking around with this information, trying not to let it slip, and wanting her to just tell them.
Yeah, and I think as someone like a confidant, that's a big responsibility. She trusts you and told you the truth. So now it's time to be her aunt and guide her, do you think?
Yeah,
What
how
did
do you
tell
help her here?
Yeah, exactly. You're totally on point with the trust. Because if I tell them without her knowing, then there goes that trust. She's never going to tell me anything ever again. But she needs to have this conversation with them, so I need to somehow push her that way without pushing her too much, and maybe just say, you need to have this conversation. But
is she done with school altogether, or does she just need a break, do you think?
Maybe that's part of it, because I know she doesn't want to do law school anymore, but maybe that doesn't mean she doesn't want to go back at some point. But we haven't really fully got through that.
The thought I had was maybe you can before this gets presented to her parents, maybe she can, kind of soften the blow by saying, listen, this wasn't the right path for me. I'm taking 6 months and I've already re-enrolled.
Yes.
And then that softens the blow, right? Because you hear so many students that are like, I'm going to take a gap year. They never go back. Or even straight out of high school. Well, I'm going to take a year to figure it out. And then they never go to school.
I think
whatever.
it will soften the blow if she has a plan. If anybody comes to you with a gripe, you want them to have a plan or something in line to execute. And if she goes to them with that, and you can help her with that, have a couple of coffee dates and get things in line, do you think that maybe it would go over better with your sister?
It's a good auntie thing.
It is a nice auntie thing.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, actually. Just because I don't have to start the conversation with, you need to tell them. I just can be like, what's your plan next?
Right,
I know you made this choice, but what's next? And maybe be like, okay, now is a good time to tell them.
Girl, thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
Can you help me out with OPP? Can you help me out with OPP? Can you help me out with OPP? Everybody!
Other people's problems. So we talked to Ashley a couple of seconds ago.
Was it Lexi?
Ashley.
Oh, Ashley.
And she had basically told us that her son is getting the opportunity to get bumped up 2 grades. And so she's kind of struggling with, do I do it? You see your child and you're like, oh my gosh, they're gifted. Let's get everything out of these kids that we can. And then, I think we brought up there's a social element to this too that she needs to be aware of.
One of her big worries is, is she going to get a large amount of crap? Either way, him parting from his friend group, it's going to get a little complicated. And I think even going up to 6th grade, the maturity levels between a 4th grader and a 6th grader are light years.
Big time.
I don't know. Is he ready to be exposed to some of the stuff that they talk about? I don't know.
Hey, Brittany, thoughts on this? If it was your kid, would you bump him up 2 grades?
So my thoughts on this is, I guess I wouldn't bump them up just because in a lot of situations, the elementary schools go up to 5th grade. So going into 6th grade, he'd be in an entirely different school.
Yeah.
So, and then on top of it, would it be an option to talk to the school and ask if there was accelerated classes that he could take or partake in versus being bumped up so that he wasn't losing out on his friend group, but he was also gaining the knowledge of accelerated classes?
Yeah, her biggest worry is that he's going to sit there with idle time, and then what do? You get into trouble or you get bored, and now you're sending your child to school to just sit there. When they should be being challenged, which is what the school wants to do. They should have a program set up, don't you think? Because there are a lot of very smart children out there that are in this situation.
I think the program is to bump them up.
I don't know if that's the answer. That's there's a lot of factors.
Hey, good thoughts on this, Brittany. I really appreciate your call. I'm going to grab Nadiana. It's right. Am I saying that right? It's Nadiana?
Yeah.
Hey, good morning. What are your thoughts on this?
Hi. So I was a kid that was gifted in a few classes, and there is some criticism that does come with it when you go to a different classroom or things like that. However, at the same time, I found friends that were also like me. And by doing that and being able to be challenged and not just bored with school, it made me actually enjoy and love school.
Oh.
And so it's where you definitely need to protect them and be careful. Make sure you're checking in on their mental health a lot throughout it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if, like, from 4th to 6th grade, if there's not a lot of, like, there is friendships there, but at the same time, they have a lot more friendships that they will be creating.
And you said you met a lot of like-minded people, and he might be in class with his friends, but his friends might be holding him back and stunting him. And so you ended up finding a group that worked for you, and it helped you excel at the same time.
Yeah, in hindsight, are you glad that you were able to get, kind of into these accelerated classes and bumped up?
For sure. It was a lot of fun, and even then you make new friends, or you're able to hang out with your old friends yet. Plan days to hang out and get together. So it's still where you're able to maintain those friendships and still get what you need.
Gotcha. So that's a nod from Nadiana. I appreciate your call this morning. Have a great day. Good morning, Molly. How are you feeling?
Hi. Good. How are you?
Good. Thank you. Your thoughts on this? If this was your child, would you do it? Would you bump them up 2 grades?
It actually was my child, and I didn't know what to do either. The first grade teacher would put him in the back of the class with a really thick chapter book, and she said, unfortunately, we don't have the time for kids like him. And she was being nice about it. So he tried school every year, so bumping him up a class, he would come home and say, they taught me the same bleep this year as last year. They're teaching the same stuff. So he remembered what he learned the year before.
So would you recommend this then?
I really don't know. We didn't do that. And our son ended up taking his own journey on, I filled him with what interests him most at home.
Yeah.
And school was school, but
he had other
what
interests.
he exceeded in at home is what I kind of focused on.
But I mean, looking back at a first grader, he wouldn't have been able to keep up with what third graders know as far as maturity. You know what I mean? Like, there's such a huge difference.
I actually think he would, because his brother was 5 years older than him.
Okay.
So looking back, maybe that would have been a good idea.
Yeah, maybe. All right. Yeah, getting a lot of different thoughts. Thanks, Molly. I appreciate it. I want to, you know what? Let's go right into the school. Hi, Eli.
Hey, how you guys doing?
We're great, man. So you're a senior in high school. What if somebody just said to you, when you were 9, hey, we're going to bump you up 2 grades. You want to do that?
So here's my thoughts on this. My school is a social circumstance where that kid is right now. He would still be in intermediate school, so he would still be able to see his friends.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't see his friends as often. And from what I know about social circles and stuff, moving him up a little bit is going to affect it, but not insanely a lot. So he'll still be able to see his friends and things, but as long as the teaching is, it's relatively the same. But also, you got to think about the years that he's going to be getting through school a lot faster.
Yeah.
You're skipping him through years. Who knows what's going to happen in the 2 years that you're stepping him up in? Those 2 years might be some of the best he's going to have.
Listen to this guy.
Move him up.
I know. You have some levity, but let's say a 10th grader right now, you're a senior. You find out tomorrow a 10th grader is about to join the senior class. How are you guys treating that person? Like that, you're going to give them some crap,
Swirlies?
right?
I generally wouldn't.
But you know people that would.
Probably help him. I would say most people in this school would actually be probably helping him out more.
That's encouraging.
The teachers in high school, they know how to help with students, and they really help you out if they need it.
All right.
So if this kid gets bumped up, the teachers are going to understand that, and they're going to help him as much as possible. And if anybody's giving him any problems, from what I know, it'd be handled pretty quickly.
I'd love to hear
Eli
this.
knuckle sandwich.
Yeah, I'd love to hear this. Thanks, bro. Have a great morning.
If I wasn't over my ex by now, I should go seek therapy somewhere. But this is like therapeutic for some people, and I love that zoos do this because it's another very creative way to raise funds for their animals. But now it's like a sequence of things that will happen in honor of your ex at Columbus, Ohio Zoo. So what you do is pay $20 and they're going to name a worm after your ex. And I'm sure if you start texting right now who that worm is, the one that leaves you laying there in bed wondering how you let that happen for so long, I'm sure that you could text us a name instantly.
What would your name be?
I think we know, Chris. Who else? Who else done me wrong? Nobody else really did me wrong. I was the doer, the wrong doer, I think. So I would be a worm this year. But what they'll do is name the worm and then they'll feed it to a sloth bear. So it's like, it's so satisfying. You see someone being named after a worm and then watch them go down the gullet of a sloth. So I think it's perfect. How about you?
It would probably have to be Amy. She was the one that
left you at dinner.
Yeah, she left me at dinner. Oof. We had just ordered drinks, and then she said she had to go to the bathroom, and then I didn't see her the rest of the night. She bounced.
I didn't realize how poor you were when you were younger, like in college.
Oh
You're
my
like,
God.
I had like 8 cents to my name, and then you decide to take this girl out, and you're like counting the pennies as she's ordering.
Well, the worst part was like I was gambling so much on pool.
Yeah.
Like, you have these highs and these lows, and one day you're loaded. You can't spend all your money. The next day you got nothing, and it's
what
just
a roller coaster.
It was mostly I play so much during the week that if I did have plans for the weekends, like nobody could ever rely on me, because even if it would be like we're gonna go to this party, it's $5 a cup. I was like, I don't have $5. Or I'd be like, I'll buy everybody's cup. Like it was feast or famine there for a hot 3 years.
Yeah.
And so when I'm like, I literally had $25 to my name, and I wanted to take this girl out for dinner. We ordered drinks, and she goes to the bathroom and just scoots.
God.
Like part of me was heartbroken because that sucks.
Yeah.
Then the other part was me like, I'm gonna still have $8 tonight. I'd be able to find a party. So Andrew had texted in sloth bear. What the hell is that? It's a sloth or a bear.
That you texted us, you could have Googled it, Andrew.
I didn't know there was such thing as a sloth bear either. And then Kat went off and started texting everybody back links to what a sloth bear is. So here's the deal. It doesn't eat meat, but it attacks more humans than any other bear.
See, vegetarians are always angry.
Lack of protein.
Yeah, they're always on edge. But this thing is ugly, and it looks like a black bear. It gets to like 5'6". But then it has the face of like an ugly sloth.
And it fights tigers and stuff like in India. Like it's Wild Kingdom over there, man.
Yeah. So
there's
there
your
you
sloth
go.
bear. Other things that other people you'd want to be naming worms after?
Yeah, Tracy had said, my worm's name is Eli. He still has yet to return my key.
Oh.
That would freak me out. I would need to change my lock. You never know what's going to motivate someone to do something. And then if they have access to your house, I would not be able to sleep well at night. Sasha says, naming my worm Sam after my ex, who is now with my cousin Laura, who will be at our reunion this summer. Sasha, you got to look so fierce. It's insane. You have to get that booty going. You have to get a killer outfit and walk by him like Sam who? Like, I've never seen you before. How are you? Oh, you're dating my cousin Laura? Oh, that's great. Where'd you guys meet?
How small of a town is it where you can't find somebody who's
I know.
not related to your ex? That stuff, I would never.
I've never understood that. There are so many people out there. And I get that you can't help who you are attracted to or who you fall for.
But maybe put on the brakes if they're in the same bloodline.
Some people don't do the pros and cons list. They just go with their heart and with what's under the belt. And I'm like, why do you want that drama?
If I'm understanding this correctly, your irresponsible sexual shenanigans started.
No, I wouldn't say sexual because that's not what we did. But we did do sleepovers like in high school. And I thought, like, I don't know.
Not girl sleepover. You're talking you slept at your boyfriend's place in high school?
Solid high school boyfriend most of my high school career. Same guy. And his parents would let me sleep over. And it's not like we'd be in there being frisky.
But
like
in
we
the
would literally
same
sleep
room.
in the same bed.
His bed.
His bed.
He's how old? You're how old?
He was 2 years older than me.
So you're like 16, he's 18.
Eventually it ended up being like that. But we were together for like 4 years.
Parents were okay with this.
And it was, But I mean, he was so paranoid. We never did anything, honest to God. We just like laid there and slept and maybe made out. Maybe did some over the sweater stuff. You know what I mean? You don't know what I mean. But like that will never happen in my house. And I was thinking about it when I let my mom was like, hey, can I spend the night to be closer to the conference? I'm like, absolutely, come on up. But then I was laying in bed, Derek, my husband of 13 years, sleeping next to me. I'm like, this is so weird. You know, like I feel like I'm doing something wrong. I don't know.
You're about to.
I wasn't.
Malik, how are you, man?
I'm great, and you?
Great, thanks. Were you able to have like sleepovers at your girlfriend's place in high school?
Yeah. It's crazy, though. It's crazy to think about it, though.
I know. Like looking back, like then you're like, this is so hot.
What parents really think about that?
Yeah, I mean, and you were like in the same bed and everything at her place.
Yeah, same bed and everything.
And did stuff go down? Like looking back, you're like, what idiots. They shouldn't have let us do that.
Yes, most definitely.
Yeah.
I look back at that like that's really crazy. Like,
do you have kids right now, Malik?
It could have been. Yes, I do have. I have 4 kids.
Yeah.
How old are they?
I got 3 boys and 1 girl.
Yeah, and over your dead body, would that girl be able to let her boyfriend sleep over at your house? Right.
I won't let that happen.
Yeah,
not my kids.
Yep, exactly.
Not in my household.
Now, was it her parents that just didn't care, or was it you were just such a smooth talker you worked your way in there?
I think the parents was just like a little bit off, like with life. You know what I'm saying? I think they had personal stuff going on.
Nice way to put it. But good. You're just like me. You're just like, wow, I can't believe I was allowed to do that. That will never. It's the generational thing.
For their kids. They didn't have time for their kids. They worked, everything and stuff like that. So.
Yeah.
So you made a move.
Yeah.
You don't sound mad about it at all, man. Hey, thanks for checking in. We have so many people texting us saying, oh, my God.
Yeah.
I got to do sleepovers.
Dina wrote, I lived at my high school boyfriend's house, actually, because my mom was unstable and they took me in. We were 15, sleeping in the same bed like a married couple. Looking back, I would never let my kid do that. Jeez. Too much pressure. So much pressure, so much like entice. You're just like, ugh. You feel that pressure.
Hey, good morning. It's Kat and JJ. How are you?
Good.
Good. What's your name?
Raylene.
Raylene, did you have sleepovers when you were in high school?
Yeah. My boyfriends could stay over whenever.
Okay, so how did that conversation go down? Did you just ask, or was it just like, we're going to bed now, and your parents were like, well, okay, I guess?
I don't really remember, but they just stayed, I guess.
So mom and dad put up no fight on this whatsoever? They were just like, sure, shack up, go ahead.
Yeah. Yep. No,
Wild.
they could stay over. Wasn't a big deal. Looking back, I'm like, Jesus Christ. Oh, pardon my French, but.
But I mean, you got kids. I'm guessing you have kids right now, and that's when your focus became like, this will never happen in my house, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, I have a 5 and a 1-year-old, but yeah, no way.
Time goes by fast.
I know. Like, they could, I guess, they could definitely have like their girlfriends over, but yeah, there'll be an open door policy, or we have 2 living rooms. They can be in the living room.
That's kind of the way it was at my parents' place too. But I mean, think about that. In 10 years, your 5-year-old could be like, Mom, I'm going to have a sleepover, and you're going to put the kibosh on that right away.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no, that's not going to happen.
I know.
Now, I don't want to get too deep into your exploits here, but should have your parents been concerned that there was somebody staying over?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
All right. Go get
We're
them,
all
girl.
human. Most people
and that's the
in high
thing.
school.
Your teenage hormones take over, and you don't have those like that decision-making lobe that's like, sure, you won't get pregnant. You're just going to do this for fun. And that's the scariest part.
Were Mom and Dad just oblivious to the fact that you guys were bumping uglies?
Oh, no.
They just didn't care.
What did my mom say? She said, well, if they're going to do it, they're going to do it anyway.
That
so
doesn't make
might as well just
sense.
let them do it in the bed.
That's
and
like,
I'm just like...
That's like your mom and dad leaving a bowl of cocaine out on the center island,
If
being
you're
like,
gonna
well,
do it,
she's going to snort it. I'd rather do it here.
Do it out of an ice bowl. Then